Assalamu alaikum, fam. Hope you're doing fantastic. It's a beautiful cold day. I love it very much. So, I want to talk to you today about something I believe you should start doing to your child in terms of conversation areas. I think you should tell your child to not blindly trust their public school teachers. I'm sure many of you already do. However, I believe it is time to actually make this a routine habit due to the fact that the leftist ideology now is shifting the duty of what teachers should be doing. The teachers no longer see them as arbiters of raw facts, but rather active groomers, influencers over your child's personal values. So, if you're at work a lot, you get distracted, we all do. This allows, the teacher to have too much intimate time with your child. Think about how many hours a day your child is stuck in a room with a teacher. And you have almost little control now over the curriculum of what they'll say. And Anna Kasparian of TYT, that barren, hyper-aggressive, man-hating, child-hating woman, speaks about how cameras should not be in schools. This is going to cause a problem. Now, the reason why some parents want that in schools is because they don't want certain things to be said. Now, the left wing says, religious people don't want facts in schools, and, that's why they don't want their kids being taught that. Rather, I'd argue certain topics are not needed for the school environment. School is supposed to be skill attainment. Learn how to read, learn how to do math, basic things. We should, have things on taxes, not gender theory. They have very explicit sexual education programs when instead, talk about real estate, talk about pollution solutions. Sex and what the teacher does in their bedroom, their orientation, should be left out. The only flag that should be allowed in the classroom is the American flag. All others of political nature should be not allowed. No teacher should be allowed to wear any political shirt whatsoever to school. And we have to really start making classrooms smaller, and we have to have more teachers in the classroom, and we have to have recordings of what is happening. We also do have to allow the teachers to have some freedom to create a curriculum around what they feel their strengths are, right? As well as the bureaucracy that comes with the schooling, but still teachers have to have some type of freedom to show their personality, but not in terms of personal, political, sexual nature, right? Because this is going to be an issue for our children, because as schools hire mostly left-wing teachers, and as school boards and council members become more and more active in pushing their personal politics into areas that they don't belong, we're going to have a very tense situation. This is another reason, further, on a side note, why we as a Muslim community have to start building schools. We have to have our own parallel society like the Amish. We have to start doing this. If we don't, we're going to risk losing our children to these people. Because if they have alone time with your kid from 8 o'clock to almost 3 o'clock, and then your kid is on the internet and you're tired, you have lost a huge chunk of your day in the influence of your kid. And if both parents are working, no one's deprogramming them from what the school has pushed on them that isn't necessary for job skills. Having these reoccurring conversations, essentially, my point is, will help your child realize what is school, right? It's a fractured prison-like daycare where it's a place of trauma as well, and where a lot of ill behaviors are acquired. This is something we have to fix. And the one way we do that, there are many, which I'm hoping that you will share with me on your own ideas, how we can combat their programming. Because as these purple-haired, nose ring weirdos get into positions of power and have control over your kid and are able to incrementally groom them day by day, this can pose a real threat to the morality you're trying to instill in your child, right? And as these teachers, with their personal political philosophy and their hatred of religion spread out across America, they will end up in red states. And since that ideology that believes teachers should take more control over your kid, they are allowed to spread their ideas through the internet, but if you counter it, you'll be censored by Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. You're gonna have, as a parent, a very hard battle ahead. We were told only the economic positions matter, social issues don't matter, and that it's a fake culture war. TYT, Kyle Kulinski, those types constantly try to gaslight us and tell us the culture war doesn't matter. It's all about taxes, it's all about economics, it's all about healthcare, which I support universal healthcare, but that's another issue. We have to be watchful. We have to be ready. We have to have very serious conversations with our kids at a young age and say, do not blindly trust the teacher simply because they're in a position of authority. Not everything your teacher says is true, nor should you blindly accept everything that is written on paper that your teacher shows you. Have a critical mind. Be skeptical. I often tell my little one, school has a functionary purpose to be in and out. Now those people will remember you in the class, you do your job, you get good grades, you're out. And what's interesting is she tells me all the time now, I don't want to go to high school and public high school. She's mentioning homeschooling, right? And I told her, if you get good grades, you can graduate early, you're out of there, right? This myth of social skills is a lie, and if I didn't go to a public school, I think I would have had a more moral upbringing. Sure, I may not have been, certain teachers have like a wonderful ability to teach you certain skills. Sure, but there are very bad schools where it's only violence. I had to fight a lot in school. There was so much bullying. It's a very tense situation now, and always will be, for the safety of students, for the popularity contests, the bad habits, the gossipy nature, the catfighting, all the politics that come in with high school and junior high can all be avoided if you homeschool and keep your family as a tight unit. But as people chase vanity, and as they're programmed to chase it, and as they desire the dunya more, they're happy that they want to expand school hours. There's even been talks of making school longer, meaning your kid is going to be inside a facility with federally funded government schools who can teach things that go really against your morality, and secular, liberal, atheist, feminists enjoy this and want this, and they're pushing every day to get it. And as their buddies and alliances grow in influence on big tech and in the media, they will snuff out your voices, censor those who speak out, and then really get their agenda driven all the way through till it's even more implemented into our lives. Leftists used to really, like old school from the 80s, they had government schools, this and that. But today, the new populist left has a different approach to what education should be doing. I've spoken to some very wise leftists who you're like, okay, I can see this person's perspective. They want to talk about corruption in politics and foreign policy, and they want people to be motivated in that way. I can agree with that. But then when you say, I want to have the kids learn cooking, I want to have these homemaking skills, well, then that's all. Women have to be empowered and go towards careerism, not homemaking skills. So as they push for certain things, they push off others that conservatives would actually want to have. Religious conservatives who have family values and such. This, to me, is something that should prompt you to want to talk to your child about what is the public school system? What kind of mindset should you have going in? Keep your reputation good. Protect your body, right? Don't focus on the boys. Don't copy the popular girls who are, getting passed around and showing their boobs and, blowing guys behind school. Don't focus on them. Don't go to parties. Get in, get out, get your money. In the future, that's all you gotta do. This type of mindset is more of preparing your kid for what is going to happen in that concrete building. Some schools are super cute and cozy, mashallah, but some schools aren't. It's like a war zone, like a prison. Plenty of people can talk about their horrible public school experiences. And if you don't talk about this with your kid, they're going to be lonely. They're going to vent through social media. They're going to try to find somebody who can understand them, and then this can lead to very bad behavior patterns and personality disorders and all that. So I highly recommend that you talk to your kid and make sure they understand the line that the school has. Because the collectivization movement of the government owning your kids, as your kids belonging to a community, as them trying to slowly tear at the bond with your kids, slowly getting you to hand over your responsibility as a parent to the government, this can make it so that your own kid would want to turn on you, which happened in China, which happened in Russia. This is something that has occurred before. And if it happens with this round, under this philosophy, under that leftist regime, we could see a new level of degeneracy. Because the things they cover are highly irrelevant and inappropriate for children to learn. They're not teaching practical skills, but they're telling boys they can be eunuchs and girls they can grow this, and that. They're totally, not even giving them practical skills, how to be a plumber, electrician, how to fix cars, how to write a will, you name it, how to garden, like practical, modern, yet traditional, primal skills. So I encourage you to end the video. We'll end it on this note. Talk about that stuff with your kid. Really drill it into them. Because you don't know what the teacher says. There's a lot of weirdos in the school system. Okay? Groomers, pedos, you name it. They're there. And if your child has a great teacher, alhamdulillah, Allah bless you. But you never know if your kid has to be wise when they're faced with somebody who is telling them something that is deeply, deeply unethical. Okay? So that's my point. Hopefully you can give me some more ideas and maybe, talk about it yourself amongst your friends and family. But I believe this is a conversation that we should all start having amongst our loved ones and our own inner circles. Let me know what you think.